Welcome to part 2 of designing a mobile application onboarding flow using AI. I'm here in this tool called UX Pilot, and we're basically using UX Pilot and artificial intelligence to go ahead and help us generate a onboarding concept for a mobile application. And the whole concept of the app is that it's a app that uses AI to generate personalized home workouts that people can do without having to use weights or kind of any of that equipment that you'd find in the gym. So in the first video, we went ahead and we just focused on building out the actual UX, right? The user experience, and really just focusing more on the structure of things, right? So we have here the splash screen, the introduction screen. We have here the demographic collection screen. And then here we actually have the personalization flow for the actual workouts. So in this video, we want to do a couple things. So number one, we want to go ahead and pick a color palette that we can use consistently across this onboarding flow. And then number two, we want to go ahead and generate some illustrations and images that we can use to actually kind of fill these placeholders that you see here to really just kind of bring the design alive. So kind of similar to what I did in the last video, I like to use this tool called Mobbin just kind of get some inspiration. So I want to go to categories and I want to go to health and fitness because we are in the health and fitness niche. Although you can most definitely look across other niches for inspiration. One app that I was actually looking at previously to actually make this video is called BitePal. And I can't exactly say that we're going to get to this level quite yet, right? This is a lot of UI, right? This is a lot of just really good UI design. But if we were actually to sit down and really design something and really go in depth on UI, right? Like all these are very custom elements that you see here, right? And these can all be built, right? All these little cards and kind of picking out this font. But for this video, we're gonna focus more on something a lot more simple. And one app that I actually mentioned, whoops, in the past is called Cal AI. And I really like what they have here. Not only is this app a really successful app, but as you see here, the color scheme is quite simple, right? They're using this black, grays, right? The background isn't just a like a blank white background, it's sort of an off-white, and they do it really nice here. And what I like, as you see here, they have some kind of like this bronze color that comes in here, right? So this is a really nice design, and I actually think that we're actually going to kind of move on this direction here, right? So something that's simple, easy for the user to comprehend, and then as you see here, right, we can add in all these little accent colors and things like that to actually make it look pretty nice. But let me see if there's anything else here. Let me see if I just there, but if I go to categories, let's see. I go to health and fitness. And again, definitely looking for something that, can be applied globally, right, to all these screens here. So a lot of apps like, for example, Apple Fitness, they tend to use a lot of like dark theme and right, it works well, it looks nice, right? Not sure if that is the exact direction we want to go in for this app. Another website that's really cool for actually getting color palette inspiration though is actually a site called Coolers. And as you see here, they have all of these color palettes here. This one actually looks pretty cool, right? So you have this really it's dark blue and this yellow actually makes it look really nice. Actually, I might give this a try. So just kind of give you some direction of what I'm thinking here is that we want to go with a simple color palette for these screens. And then for these, we want to use illustrations, right? People illustrations. And for those illustrations, I really want those colors to pop, right? So if we can kind of keep the rest of the design, a bit more simple, maybe I'm going to use grays and I'll use some kind of off whites. That's pretty cool. Although I am liking this, what they call this golden twilight. And actually, this looks pretty good as well. They call this black and gold elegance. So these two are actually pretty cool. So here's something that we can actually do. So I can go ahead and I can just copy this. I'm going to say copy as an array. I'm going to come here to AppFlow GBT. This is the tool that I used before. And as you see here, when I just paste in the array, these are the colors. So I'm going to go ahead and give this a prompt. Okay, so I pasted in this prompt here. I said, I'm going to go ahead and provide you with some colors. Can you please break it down to a color palette? I'm going to go ahead and paste it in here. And then basically, AppFlow is going to go ahead and put it in this really nice copy box that I like. And what I like is that So I built this custom GBT and I had it, I basically input a prompt in the backend to basically help you separate things like background colors, surface colors, primary colors, right? All these things are important. So I'm actually just gonna go ahead and just copy this and I'm gonna go ahead and just pick one of these designs that this is gonna go on to. So I'm actually gonna pick one of these onboarding screens. So I'm gonna come here and I'm gonna click on generate, hi-fi. So as you see, UX Pilot already has a prompt here to basically transform the wireframe into a basically a hi-fi design while keeping all the layouts and everything. So I'm literally just going to paste my color palette below, and I'm just going to say use the following color palette. All right, and I'm gonna go ahead and just click generate, and let's see what this comes back with. All right, so UX Pilot finished generating, and I can say that I probably don't want this. All right, so um, yeah. Or maybe, let's see, the background color. Well, even if I did kind of like a, let's say a white background, maybe like an off-white. So let me see. So this is Tailwind. And if I could do FA, then it still wouldn't work pretty good. So I'm gonna go ahead and just hit revert changes. I know for sure I don't want this, so I'm just gonna go ahead and hit remove. Um, let's try this one here. So I'm gonna go ahead and just copy as, again, an array. And I'm gonna just say, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and have ChatGPT go ahead and just kind of give me a different color palette setup here. I'm gonna come back in here and I'm gonna go ahead and try a new palette. I'm gonna paste that in here and I'm gonna go ahead and click on generate. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that you definitely do not have to use it in this style, right? Like you don't have to use this as your background color and this as your surface colors. You can definitely move colors around. But in this case, for the last generation that we did, I kind of didn't like really the assortment of colors. And I'm really looking for something that's really easy for the user to understand. One of the most important things in onboarding is that it's easy to understand, it works fast, right? It removes friction. And in this case where we really want to personalize the app experience for the user, right? We really want the user just kind of focused on being able to understand the questions, pick something, and also make the app look very professional at the same time. So you see here, this is the other palette. And again, not liking it here. I don't like this background or these kind of colors for the accents or anything. So I'm going to go ahead and just remove that as well. And actually what I'm going to do, so instead of using any of these colors, I think I'm just going to go ahead and leverage kind of Cal AI. So I really like Cal AI. I really like their designs and everything. So I'm really gonna aim for more of a simple design palette. So what I'm going to do, I'll just come here to onboarding. As you see here again, I like the black, the grays with some nice accent colors. So what I'm thinking is actually kind of using like a off-white background, black grays with some orange accents. And we'll keep maybe the CTAs, we'll keep them black. So I will actually go ahead and have AppFlow suggest me a color palette. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and just take a quick screenshot of what I have here. I'm going to come here into AppFlow. I'm going to go ahead and paste it in here. I'm going to go ahead and give it a prompt. Okay, so I basically just had my AppFlow GBT go ahead and just generate me a color palette based on what I have, but also what I see in Cal AI, right? So the idea here is that we can just kind of get running pretty quickly. So I'm going to go ahead and take this. So FA, this kind of hex code right here is actually one of my favorite to use for off-white backgrounds. All right, so I'm just gonna go ahead and just copy this. And again, I'm gonna go ahead and use this screen and I'm gonna go ahead and paste it in here. I want to add in the prompt. I'm gonna go ahead and click on generate and let's see what it comes back with. Hopefully we get something that's clean, that's simple, and just kind of really good to start with. Okay, so the app finished generating here. Okay, so this is definitely better than the other designs that we created. Right? So this is a lot more lively, right? So we have orange for the accent colors here, orange for the CTA. So pretty cool, maybe a little bit bright. maybe we can use maybe like a either a darker orange or maybe just another color. But I like the I like the off-white background, right? The white surface color is fine. All right, let's see. So one of these is the, okay, so this one here is the primary color. So this right here. All right, so maybe we want to try a slightly darker primary color. So if I go back over to coolers, okay, so here in coolers, right, we have a bunch of different palettes here with some different surface colors. So I'm going to go ahead and copy that. One thing I like about UX Pilot is that when I apply these color stylings, they apply pretty quickly. All right, so again, looking at the primary, if I just change the primary, well, that's going to be white. So, or 0, 0, 0. Okay, that makes it black. Okay, so this is even is not bad either. So let's see. All right. All right, even that isn't bad, but I kind of want something a little brighter that kind of brightens up the page just a little bit without kind of being too much. All right, let's try this one. Okay, I think this is a pretty clean color to go with. All right, so again, we just have the selection box here, continue CTA, nice orange header. So this actually looks pretty good as a primary. So I'll go ahead and say, I'm going to say change the primary to this color here. And it's going to go ahead and just generate this color palette again. Okay, so with the new color palette, I'm going to go ahead and just start applying these screen by screen. So as I come here, I can go and just generate hi-fi, and I'm going to say, or I'm just going to paste in that color palette again. I'm going to go ahead and generate that, and then same thing for here, hi-fi design. I'm going to go and paste it in here and generate these two hi-fi color designs here. And I'll just go ahead and move them there. Actually, I'll move these down, right? That way we can actually see the difference between the original UX design and the new UI that we want to implement. Okay, so finished generating the splash and the introductory screen. As you see here, it went ahead and actually kind of highlighted this part of the text, which is pretty cool. Then it has this get started CTA in this color here. Looks like there's a little bit of a gradient applied here too. It starts out darker and then moves to a lighter color. Now that the splash screen and intro screen are, well, I'm not going to say done. I do want to apply kind of a gradient background to this with the logo screen, but I'll come back to that. Right now, I just kind of want to focus on getting these other screens out the way. Okay, so for these demographic screens, I want to go ahead and turn these also into hi-fi designs. So again, I'm just going to go ahead and paste in the color palette there. And I'm going to go ahead and just generate, I'm going to just turn these into high fidelity designs. All right. And again, same thing. I'm just going to go ahead and move these around. All right. That way we can just have everything nice and neat and spaced out. All right, so let's see what it comes back with. Okay, so it went ahead and generated the demographic screen in a hi-fi way. And actually, this is pretty cool. So I like what it did here. So it took the kind of outline that I applied here and just kind of made it pop here on the screen. So as you see here, if I go ahead and just click on male or female, it's not interactive here. Let's see, I may actually be able to, let's see, preview. So this is pretty cool. If I come here and hit preview, so this is one thing I really like about UX Pilot. So you can actually preview the design. They do make it interactive. So as you see here for the gender screen, right, as I click on the button, it highlights in the same primary color, and then the continue button highlights. So same thing, if I come here and I just click on preview, all right, I go ahead and I tap on this, and I really like the fact that the age actually changed color. That's a really cool thing UX Pilot did. So I can enter something in here, right? This is super clean. I can hit continue. Okay, so same thing. I'm gonna go ahead and just turn all of these into hi-fi designs. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and wait for these screens to finish generating, but I do know that UX Pilot actually came out not too long ago with some sort of kind of color palette system where it actually could go ahead and just kind of apply the color palettes. I just haven't gotten around to actually playing with it enough yet, so I'm pretty sure that I'm probably doing it the long way, but nonetheless, still pretty cool. So I really like what it's doing here, right? So we have right? We have the goals section where we transition to the goals section, and then we have all these options here. All right. So one thing, right, you might kind of notice. So on this screen, right? So okay, so on this screen, the options that are not selected are still gray scaled, and then the option that is selected actually turns color, right? So as you see here, the icon actually fills in. So so these screens here are different, right? So and then not just that, as you see here, it's gray. The icon is colored, but around it is gray, and then here around it's colored in. So just for simplicity and consistency, right? We want to keep it all the same. And I really like what this screen has. I prefer the ability to keep all the options kind of grayscale, and then whatever's selected then can actually turn color. All right, so I'm actually going to go ahead and just create a prompt for that. All right, so I put here the option boxes that are not selected should be gray, like the tag design. Only when selected should the primary colors apply to the option the user selected. So I'm going to go ahead and just generate that, and it's going to go ahead and just edit them both at the same time. I really like this feature that they implemented here. So that actually helps saves a lot of time. Okay, so UX Pilot went ahead and fixed it for us. So now we're actually looking consistent. All right, so if I just go ahead and preview this, right, as you see here. So basically only the option that's selected, it will then apply the primary color to the button. So if the user selects it, it applies it. If not, it just stays grayscale as you see there. So that is exactly what I was going for, and it keeps this whole thing rather consistent. All right, so we went from this UX design up here to this UI implementation that we see here. Okay, so now that we have these designs generated, the next thing that I want to do is that I want to go ahead and generate some images, right? Or really some illustrations, right? So for example, as you see here, this person's doing a workout, but this icon or this placeholder that was put there, obviously, it's just a placeholder, right? So we want to go ahead and actually create our own illustrations. And a tool that I'm actually going to be using to do this is called Kai API. Okay, so I'm here again in Kai AI, and this is a models marketplace. And basically what it allows you to do is that in a single service, you have access to a bunch of different models for image generation, video generation, even music generation, text, things like that. So we want to go ahead and select text to image. And then as I scroll down here, I'm going to go ahead and look for the Nano Banana model. All right. So as you see here, we have the ability to generate a PNG image. We can pick an image size. So I'll do a 1:1. And then we can go ahead and put the prompt here. So one of the cool things about this service, Kai API or Kai AI, is the fact that they actually provide you with an API endpoint. So if you're using something like N8N and you actually want to generate a bunch of different images and videos, or plug it into your AI agent to help you do all of that, you can do that. But in this case, we're going to go ahead and just simply use the web-based tool to go ahead and just generate the images for the design, or the illustrations rather. So in order to get a good illustration, right, what I like to do is that I actually like to have ChatGPT actually write the prompt. So what I really want to do is I really want to describe to ChatGPT exactly what I want it to create. And then it's gonna go ahead and create a prompt. I'm gonna come here into Kai API, and then it's gonna go ahead and output me the image. So in order to get inspiration, because again, AI works really good with inspiration, is I want to just come here to Google Images to kind of find what I'm looking for. So I'm looking for an illustration, but I actually want a person working out. All right, so I'm looking for a person or an illustration of a person working out. So as you see in this illustration, a person's working out at home. They're using dumbbells. In our case, we don't want that, but this is exactly what I'm kind of aiming for. So I'm going to come back here into AppFlow, and I'm going to go ahead and just attach that image that I created here. And I'm going to go ahead and give it a prompt. Okay, so I went ahead and I prompted ChatGPT to go ahead and just create me a prompt for Nano Banana. All right, so it's going to go ahead and just build a highly detailed prompt here. And again, we're going to use it for this background, or really for this header part right here. And actually, I actually want it to be like a 500 by 500 image. So let me go ahead and just include that detail. Okay, so I went ahead and prompted it. I said the image should be 500 by 500, and I also just referenced that it's going to go up here, just so that it has a bit more context of what I'm looking for. So it's going to go ahead and generate this prompt here, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and copy this over here into Nano Banana. I'm going to go ahead and paste it in here. And actually, before I run it and make it charge me a credit, I'm just going to go ahead and just review this really quick. All right, so let's see. Let's see what Nano Banana now comes back with. So I'm going to go ahead and run that, and it's going to go ahead and generate an image. Let's see if it's something that we can use. All right, so this is pretty cool, right? So has an image here. Now, one thing is that, so as you see here, this background, this has a background applied. Okay, so to tighten it up a little bit more, I actually found an illustration that really kind of captures what I'm looking for. So as you see in this image that I attached, it has the illustration of the people working out, and I really like this wavy background, right? This is exactly what I'm going for. I prefer the wavy background to be the primary color, and the illustration of the person, maybe they have something on them that looks like the primary color, right? So I'm looking for something like this. All right, so I went ahead and I pasted in, or I gave it the example that I liked with a much bigger prompt here, much more detailed prompt. So it's gonna go ahead and generate this Nano Banana prompt. Let's see if this one is a little bit better. Okay, so went ahead and generated this, and not bad at all, right? I think that I'd probably clean it up a little bit more, but so far it looks good. Let's see if we can actually get this onto the design. Okay, so I'm going to use this website called ImageBB, and basically I'm just going to go ahead and upload the design here. And actually, hold on, I think it's using the, I think it's applying this kind of background that you find in designs when they're trying to be transparent, but I don't think it took it out, right? This back here. So I'm going to go ahead and just upload this to this website called Remove Background to hopefully generate me a good image. Okay, so now that that's done, I'm going to come here. I'm actually going to upload this. See, now it's gone. So I'm going to go ahead and just upload this. All right, and then I'm going to get this HTML. I'm going to go ahead and copy this. I'm going to come here to UX Pilot. I'm going to come to section edit for here, and I'm going to paste in. So I'm going to say use this image URL for the background. I'm going to go ahead and paste this in here and hit generate. And hopefully this should actually help when it comes to kind of visualizing what this design could look like with the illustration in place. Okay, so it applied it here, but not in the way that I want to. I want to remove this whole background, no equipment needed piece here. So I'm going to go ahead and just section edit here. I'm going to go ahead and give it a prompt. All right, so that's pretty cool. So it went ahead and generated it for us. And as we see, we have the image here. But I want to see if I can make it a little bit bigger than that, right? We have a lot of space here. Okay, so that's actually better. So this is the last version here, and this is the new version. All right, so we have our nice little illustration here. And there's definitely more that we can do, right? Like I would probably still continue to kind of iterate on this illustration. You know, maybe we can apply some other items here, but I think we're on the right track here. So same thing, I want to go ahead and create some illustrations for all of these screens. So what I'm going to do is that I'm actually going to go ahead and just kind of save the time. I'm just going to go ahead and generate a bunch of illustrations, apply them here, and then I'm going to show you exactly what it came out with. All right, so let's take a look at what we have here. So as you see here, I went ahead and generated all these illustrations. So in Kai AI, I actually, instead of sticking with the Nano Banana model, I actually switched over to the 4.0 image model from OpenAI, and that actually resulted in better, more detailed illustrations, right? So just for reference, right? So this was generated in Nano Banana, right? Not bad, but I actually like the quality of the illustrations generated here, and these a lot better. So just a couple key notes, right? So you definitely, especially in onboarding, you want to have all of your content above the fold, meaning that the user should be able to see everything without scrolling. In this case, like for example, this image element, really, it's kind of like a bigger box behind here. So what I would do is that I would actually kind of come in here and crop this before you upload it. That way it takes up less space and then everything else is kind of pulled upwards, right? Same with this, right? This can also easily be adjusted upwards. If you really want to dial this in, you can either bring it over to Figma, you can dial it in more, or you can actually download it as an HTML and open it in Cursor to kind of help better fine tune the designs. But nonetheless, this really helps to kind of really bring these designs to life. So if I just go ahead and hit preview here, we can really just kind of get a sense of what the user will have on their device, right? So again, being above the fold, we can definitely, like this doesn't have to be as high. So we can make this thinner, bring the image up some more, If anything, we can make these boxes a little thinner and definitely have this whole thing above the fold. For the sake of strictly just designing and being able to design without being a UI UX designer, um, or having access to one, right? This is all pretty good, really good, and quite interactive as well. Anyway, with that being said, hope you guys really enjoyed this simple two-part series for building a mobile app onboarding. Do look out for future videos more on just kind of product focused videos just like this one. Thanks so much for checking out the video, and I'll see you in the next one.